From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Sunday greeted Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim on his birthday, calling him a dear and trusted friend as they have known each other even before becoming fellow leaders in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN. In a video message posted on social media, the president said the Malaysian leader is a big help in facing challenges in the region. The chief executive praised the prime minister's dedication and service to Malaysia, which became his inspiration. President Marcos also thanked all the opportunities that he was able to work and get together with the Prime Minister, and at the same time continue exercises to promote peace and prosperity between both countries and the Southeast Asian region. Let us listen to the greeting of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
To my dear friend, Prime Minister Anwar, I am so happy to be able to greet you on your special day. We have known each other for some years now, even before we assumed our roles as fellow leaders in ASEAN. Our friendship has helped make the challenges of leadership more bearable. Sometimes, I dare say, even enjoyable. For me, you are more than just a neighbor in ASEAN. You are a trusted friend with whom I share many fond memories. At this point in our lives, we have been charged to lead our respective nations and play important roles in this region and in the wider international community. Your unwavering dedication to Malaysia and our shared vision for the region have been a source of inspiration. Together, we have addressed numerous challenges and celebrated some successes. Much has been done, yet much is left to do. And I'm glad to have a dear friend with me as we navigate the uncertainties that lie ahead. From sharing the microphone at karaoke night to sharing the floor, the bilateral and multilateral levels, we have come some way. I am grateful for every opportunity that we have had through the years to share ideas and to learn from each other's experiences as we continue to steer our nations and the region towards a future of peace and prosperity for our peoples. On a personal note, I want to emphasize how much I value the bonds that our families share. Your wisdom, kindness, and strength have been invaluable to me, and I look forward to more years of friendship and cooperation. I wish you the happiest of birthdays, Mr. Prime Minister. May this year bring you good health, happiness, and continued success.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. strongly condemns the latest illegal and dangerous activities of China against members of the Philippine Air Force or PAF this past Thursday. This is the statement of Malacañang on the deliberate release of flares by two Chinese aircrafts to a PAF plane that is undergoing a routine maritime patrol over Bajo de Masinloc. According to the palace, the president is one along with the brave men of the PAF. Malacañang said the situation in the waters are just getting calmer, but now concerns of possible instability might arise in its airspace. Despite this, Malacañang pointed out the commitment of the Philippines to use diplomacy and peaceful means as a way to resolve misunderstandings. China claims the entirety of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea, where Manila enjoys sovereignty refusing to recognize a 2016 arbitral ruling that invalidated its claims and affirmed the Philippines Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ. The Philippines has been drumming up support from its allies in the international community, including longtime military ally the United States, while also beefing up the capabilities of its armed forces.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. over the weekend shared the good news about the Philippines' economic performance in the second quarter of 2024. In a video posted on social media, the president said the Philippine economy grew by 6.3% due to increase in investments under the government's Build Better More program. Despite the good news, the chief executive said, this is irrelevant if the Filipino people doesn't feel the impact. That's why the administration continues to provide quality jobs. Let us listen to Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s good news to the Filipino people.
Sa aking mahal na mga kababayan, nais kong ibahagi ang ibang magagandang balita. In the second quarter of the year, our economy grew by 6.3% compared to the previous year, one of the highest in ASEAN. This is due to the increase in investments and construction under the Build Better More program. Bagamat maganda ang datos na ito, wala itong kabuluhan kung hindi maramdaman ng ating mga kababayan. Kaya't patuloy ang ating pagbibigay ng sapat at kalidad na trabaho. This June, the unemployment rate dropped to 3.1%, one of the lowest on record for the last 2 decades. Over 50.3 million Filipinos are now employed, with 63.8% of them in the formal sector. Lalong dumadami ang mga kababayan nating may disente at formal na hanap buhay at naging bahagi ng middle class. Ang lahat na ito ay patungo sa layunin nating iangat mula sa kahirapan ang bawat Pilipino. At abot kamay na natin ito. The poverty rate also dropped to 15.5%, which means we have lifted 2.5 million Filipinos out of poverty, and only 10.9% of Filipino families remain poor. Our goal is to further reduce this rate to 9% by 2028 and improve the lives of 8 million Filipinos. Inuulit ko, baliwala lahat ng ating ginagawa kung walang pagbabago sa buhay ng mga Pilipino. So I assure you, this government will continue to invest in job-generating infrastructure, social protection programs, health, and education for all Filipinos. We will not rest on our laurels, but use them to propel us forward into social and economic transformation.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. will meet with Golden Boy Carlos Yulo and other Filipino Olympians at Malacañang Palace in Manila on Tuesday. In a social media post, the Presidential Communications Office or PCO announced that the President will give the Filipino Olympians recognition for their feat. The PCO said Yulo and the Philippine delegation will land at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City in the afternoon of August 13th. It added that the athletes would be welcomed by their families at the airport and would then proceed to the Philippine International Convention Center or PICC in Pasay City, where government officials would eagerly wait for them and give their greetings. After the welcome ceremony, they will be accorded with a hero's parade until Malacañang Palace. Yulo bagged 2 Olympic gold medals in the men's artistic gymnastics floor exercise and vault events. Boxers Nesty Petesio and Ira Villegas, meanwhile, snatched Olympic bronze medals. Thanks to Yulo, the Philippines bested its performance in the 2021 Tokyo Games, wherein weightlifter Heidelin Diaz bagged the country's first Olympic gold medal, two silvers from Nesty Petesio and Carlo Paalam, and one bronze medal from Yumir Marshall.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippine Air Force, or PAF, and the United States Pacific Air Forces, or PACAF, conducted a joint exercise over the weekend called Iron Blade that was carried out at the Basa Air Base in Pampanga Province and the Brigadier General Benito Ebuen Air Base in Mactan, Cebu Province. Featured in the bilateral integration exercise are two FA-22s of the United States and one C-130 Hercules transport aircraft that underwent a flight formation, as well as conducted a seminar on flight operations and maintenance, as well as cargo-related discussions. The Philippines participated using two FA-50PHs fighter aircrafts. The Iron Blade is part of the activities of the U.S. Air Force after their participation in the Pitch Black exercise in Australia, and before going to the country, they made a stopover at the Kadena Air Base in Japan. In total, the U.S. Air Force paraded 6 F-22s and 3 C-130s in its stopover in the country. Colonel Maria Consuelo Castillo, PAF Public Affairs Office Chief, said the exercise was another demonstration of the strong and enduring partnership between the Philippines and the U.S., as well as their commitment to regional security and stability. Castillo said a photo exercise was also incorporated in the mission to further improve cooperation and interoperability.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, or DHSUD, announced the launching of more housing projects in Mindanao under President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino, or 4PH program. According to DHSUD Secretary Jose Rizalino Acozar, construction of two housing projects already started in Zamboanga City and Surigao del Norte Province. Shelter officials also visited a 4PH project site at the Dreams Residences and the signing of an agreement for Vinta Residencia in the town of Salaan in Zamboanga City. Besides this, the DHSUD also launched the Sikat High Park Residencia in Layuhan Town that will be implemented by the National Housing Authority, or NHA. The agency targets to build 25,000 housing units in Zamboanga City under the 4PH program. On Sunday, housing officials also signed an agreement to build the Dapa Island Residences in the town of Osmeña in Siargao, the very first 4PH project in the Caraga region. Acozar said the president ordered to closely monitor the implementation of 4PH for less fortunate citizens.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, positive cases of paralytic shellfish poison, or toxic red tide, continue to rise in Philippine waters. Based on a report of the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BIFAR, There are 10 coastal waters in different provinces that are contaminated with red tide that exceeds the regulatory limit. Irong-Irong Bay and Villarreal Bay in Samar Province are the newest addition to the list of areas positive with red tide. Seafood that remains to be not safe for human consumption in Dumanquillas Bay in Zamboanga del Sur Province, coastal waters of San Benito in Surigao del Norte Province, coastal waters of Daram Island, Zumaraga Island, and Cambatutay Bay in Samar, Matarinao Bay in Eastern Samar, Cancabato Bay in Leyte Province, and the coastal waters of Tungawan in Zamboanga, Sibugay Province. Because of this, BFAR and local government units or LGUs prohibits the catching, selling, and eating of seafoods in the mentioned waters. On July 23rd, the coastal waters of Dauis and Tagbilaran City in Bohol, Dumanquillas Bay in Zamboanga del Sur, and the coastal water of San Benito in Surigao del Norte are the only areas affected by the red tide.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippines once again accepted several nominations in the prestigious 23rd Annual Wanderlust Reader Travel Awards 2024 of Wanderlust, considered to be the longest-running travel magazine in the United Kingdom. In the mentioned travel awards, the Philippines has been nominated this year as one of the most desirable country, while Cebu Province is also nominated as the most desirable region. Palawan Province is also nominated under the most desirable island category, all in the rest of the world category. Besides this, the Philippines has been nominated in several subcategories, including adventure, nature and wildlife, culture and heritage, gastronomy, and sustainability. Filipinos can show their support by voting on Wanderlust's official website at wanderlustmagazine.com or using the QR code provided by the Department of Tourism or DOT in its Facebook page.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radio Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radio Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radio Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.